Looks strange, don't it? To have one's own hand over one's face. It's actually something I used to use to calm myself down when I was younger. Today, too, it's part of my stimming. The red hand over the face, that's pretty important. Renee Amelia Richards is missing. It's a lot scarier when it's somebody else's hand over your face. I know I've been there. Human trafficking ain't a joke. It's not just white girls that matter, okay? The rest of us matter too. Renee Amelia Richards is 35 years old. She is missing from Rapid City, South Dakota. She was last seen May 28th. Some of her family was typing in there. The group is called Social Distance Powwow. I had a former friend turn me onto the group and invite me to it. His name is Jesse. He goes by Yishan Medine. And when he was up there at the Keystone Pipeline, he let me know they needed supplies. I helped to get some supplies there. I didn't make it all the way. This ain't about me, is it? It's about a Native American woman, and I probably shouldn't have said Native American woman. That probably turned a few of you off on it, because Renee could be a white girl. She's 35 years of age. She has 4 kids. I tried to remember as much as I could in about 2 minutes before I started making this. I'm trying to get the word out. Obviously, it's her family making the post. Obviously, her family cares if she goes missing. And that's unfortunate. I know there's a lot of people out there that went missing that their families didn't care, didn't try looking, didn't bother to check and see. With the Gabby Petito situation, we got to find out how many missing people they can find in one body search, didn't we? Over a dozen bodies before they found the ones they were looking for. 2 different locations, multiple bodies found in both locations. Now, maybe one of y'all might say Brian is a serial killer, and that's proof. You also might say there's a lot of places to hide bodies. There's a lot of people missing. There's a lot of fucking bodies out there. A lot. There's a whole ton of fucking bodies. If you guys had helped find Natalie Bollinger on the 28th when I first reached out for help instead of fighting with each other, she could have been fucking found. You guys didn't want to help me get the information to the Broomfield Police Department that they'd asked for. You didn't even fucking try. The body camera footage that they have, well, I don't remember seeing body cams, but I know in those interrogation rooms it is recorded. And of course, from a source called William Barr, He said there's probably a good chance that Natalie's family was right behind a pane of glass watching me. That was a cute one. I don't know if he was trying to be sarcastic or with his experience formerly as an officer before he was barred from being an officer further. Now he does internet investigations for them, apparently, which I told you guys a long time ago. And guess what it took for him to fess up to that? To show that he existed and that the things that I said about him were true. Yes, his name is William Barr. Yes, I know him through the Martindales. Absolutely. Yes, he does internet investigations. What, did you think that I hallucinated this shit? No. The things I said about him and his credentials, I was absolutely right about. I got them directly from him. And nearly verbatim, that's what he wrote down on that paperwork. Wanted to use his credentials. It wasn't about the evidence. It was never about the evidence. It's about the credentials. It's about the letters at the end of your name. See, Meg wanted to assign more importance to her title because it is a professional sounding title than there really was to it. Because, see, although it is professional sounding, that also allows them, because it's also a legally defined title in Nebraska, because you're using that title, you get to be the scapegoat for that shit. It's not their fault. The advocate didn't do it. Even after the advocate said that that's not what she does, she still retained it as a title. Now, lucky for her, I actually have the recordings that prove that she did tell them eventually. I also have the recordings that show that I called her up over and over and over again. Every time they said, I got to take it to Meg, I took it to Meg. Meg said it's not her job. I had to go tell them it wasn't her job. Now, lucky for her, she did tell them, and they continued to play that afterwards. She actually did attempt at that point to step into that role. They told her that writing that letter was inappropriate. I was trying to get the evidence before a judge. Them officers can do that immediately. They can call that judge up at 4 o'clock in the morning and wake his ass up if they want it. It's rude. It's rude. I get told it's rude. Shit, if I'm having a panic attack at 2 o'clock in the fucking morning, I'm not doing it to be rude, asshole. I have nightmares about how I was treated and continue to be treated for trying to show this fucking evidence. And it just piles up more and more. People wanted to be cowards. They didn't understand the power of their words because they didn't use them when they mattered. Don't tell me you're scared. You tell the fucking judge how scared you are. You tell those fucking cops how scared you are. You want to tell me you're afraid of these people? You want to tell me that you're afraid of Scott DaCosta, so you won't come forward? You want to tell me that you're afraid of the Haxton Sheriff's Department, so you won't come forward? You're going to claim these people threatened you and intimidated you. And of course, I understand small town politics. I certainly do. When Candace told me that that officer followed her on her way to school and stopped her on her way to school. She was taking her fucking kids to school. I was the one who made the 911 call. Candace wasn't there for that call. I was. Candace didn't make that call. I did. He smiled at me while telling me that I need to write my local senator, while one of Natalie's ex-stepmothers who had gotten in contact with me could have possibly been beaten to death. So I called 911. I gave Miss Shelley my number. Danica got me in contact with her. Mia, aka Cara Rogers, the one who made a GoFundMe. It did receive funds. It was attached to her credit card. And I am treated like I fraudulently stole money from people that I never saw a penny of. Candace Bondurant as well. She did make a GoFundMe. It was attached to her credit card. Do you know why when you guys tried to turn in literally everything that I was doing and claiming that I was doing things that I wasn't, when you were claiming that I was trying to scam people, I didn't have the money to fucking live on, and I was being forced into a violent public. That's right, after putting me on the news the way that they did, as a disabled American who busted his fucking ass. I cut trees. I dug ditches in Boulder. They don't call it Boulder for no reason. There are rocks in there that are bigger than your fucking house. How do you dig out a rock that is bigger than your fucking house? You do it with a goddamn hammer and a chisel. You know why? Because most of the time, you run into it at the edge, something that big. Now, I did a lot of hard physical labor in my lifetime. I walked to school in Lodgepole, Nebraska, and back home to Chapel, Nebraska every day with an Alice pack on my back that was full. Every single day that I went to school, that is what I did. And absolutely people remember that. No, it wasn't uphill both ways. No, I wasn't barefoot in the snow. And yes, I did that even when it snowed. Renee is missing. I encourage you to look her name up. I don't have the ability to do all of the important shit with that. This has got to stop. When it's a white girl, you'll try to peg a homeless person for it because it's an easy fucking conviction and you know it. Just like they knew that it would be an easy conviction, I was an easy standby. An easy standby. If they didn't find the killer, I would have gone to prison. On something called circumstantial... No, it's not circumstantial evidence. It's not. It's blatant fucking lies. The officers in Natalie's situation, when she died, and I spoke to them, that recording shows that the way they tried to paint me, and the way they continue to try to paint me to this day, is to hide their own crimes. They know what they did was against the law. And their dumbasses did that with a murder They did this with a murder, which means they can't destroy that body camera, can they? You can get that body camera and you can see that I told the truth. But it didn't fit your narrative. That's why somebody needed to be there in person, so they could verify it immediately and say, yes, that's exactly what happened. Instead of me, 6 years later, still trying to get the fucking body cameras, still trying to get their evidence. I'm not entitled to that. The news can get that, but they didn't. They got it for everyone else that Waylon Lolatai assaulted. They got it for plenty of other murder suspects. But they call me mentally ill, and you will literally help them to destroy evidence. You helped them destroy evidence! You victimize the victim, and you blame and shame the victim. And when the victim defends himself, you pretend he's evil. He's a horrible person. Fuck you! You go out and you find this woman. Right fucking now! Stop making excuses! Go find her!